Thank you for joining me on Reverent Readings. I am extremely you're experiencing some connection issues. I'm getting messages from there is a bad problem with the Okay. Hope that this works better. um
Let me be your mouth, let me speak all of your words. I know what you say will always endure. Let me be your mouth, let me speak your holy truth. 'Cause everything
Okay guys, I am extremely sorry about this. I'm not sure what's going on. So hopefully things are going a little bit smoother this time. I'm sorry about that connection problem. I had to reload a couple of things. So I think it's going better this time. So I'm sorry about that. Before we get started here, I just want to make mention of my sponsor. This whole series, Reverent Readings, is sponsored by Amazon Prime, and there's an extremely special link in the description that if you click on it, you will get a free 30-day trial of Amazon Prime, and if you sign up through that link, you're supporting this channel and this series, so please go check it out. Also, check out my Facebook page and go give it a like. So check me out on Facebook, The Well-Rounded Girl, and like my page. Also, please stay tuned after the reading to chat with me and to give your thoughts on tonight's reading, anything you'd like to add, anything you'd like to say. So stay tuned for that. You can chat with me using the chat box on the left-hand side. I'm sorry, on the right-hand side of your screen. So use that during this video and we can discuss this and just make it like a nice one on here. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. If you're not watching this live, you can also talk with me down in the comments section, so be sure and do that if you aren't watching this live. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Today's reading is called Cowboy Up. And the Bible verse says, "Keep on loving each other as brothers and sisters. Don't forget to show hospitality to strangers, for some who have done this have entertained angels without realizing it." Hebrews 13, 1 through 2. That's one of my favorite verses, so I'm really excited for tonight. The golden leaves of the cottonwood trees rattled in the light October breeze. Czar stood tied to the hitching rack at Montier Creek Camp, switching his tail to keep the flies away. Pushing his black mane aside, I brushed his neck with a soft, bristled brush. He closed his eyes and leaned into the brush, enjoying the massage. I whisked away clumps of dirt. "What should we do this morning?" I asked. I'd just finished making chocolate chip cookies and chopping kindling, the last two items on my list of chores. The guides had taken the guests hunting, leaving camp empty. I looked around at the white canvas tents, with their loosely tied door flaps gently blowing in the breeze. Without the guests sitting around the campfire and the guides bustling around doing chores, it looked like a ghost town. Hollow. Hollow. That's how I feel on the inside. A fly droned past and landed on Czar's hind leg. Stomping his foot, he switched his tail. The fly skittered away. It was the third day of a 10-day outing. My pack season had started in May, with trips to set up camp in Montier Creek. By June, I was leading guests along rocky trails, and now I was the cook for hunting camp. Because I'd been in the mountains all summer and fall, I hadn't seen my friends. I missed hanging out with them, but most of all, I missed doing things for them. That was the hollowness that settled in my soul. But what can I do? I'm 14 miles in the wilderness, a world away from everybody. Czar's mane glistened in the sun. I pushed it back into place. Jim and Carrie are going to be riding past today with their guests, I told Czar. But they won't be stopping. I sighed. Kim and Jerry were outfitters and friends. We shared the same trailhead. My camp was 14 miles down the trail, and theirs was a grueling 24 miles. They didn't stop when they rode by because it took an extra hour to ride the quarter mile off the main trail into my camp, tie the horses, sip coffee, round the guests back up, get mounted up, and hit the main trail. With 24 miles to ride, they didn't have an hour to spare. I brushed Czar's black tail. Any ideas? I walked around the three-sided tack shed to get my saddle. A large piece of plywood caught my eye. A wild idea stampeded through my mind. If they won't stop for cookies and coffee because it's too far out of the way, maybe I could bring some to them. The piece of plywood would make a great shelf in a tree. Quickly, I saddled Czar. We cantered out to the main trail where I eyed an enormous pine tree. Tipping my head from side to side, I sat figuring. I need to put the shelf high enough that the deer won't eat the treats. What if I put it high enough that Jim and Carrie and their guests won't even have to dismount? What if they could ride up on their horses and serve themselves, like a drive-up window? Cowboy up drive-through. I giggled and rubbed Czar's neck. Let's go back to get the tools and the plywood. When I returned to the trail with the hardware supplies, I hammered the 2-foot by 3-foot plywood shelf in place. I stepped into the saddle and rode next to it. It was the perfect height to pour coffee on horseback. Delighted, I raced Czar back to camp for the fixings. When I got back, I stocked the shelf with Kool-Aid in a closed pitcher, chocolate chip cookies in a plastic container, creamer, sugar, and an air pot filled with coffee. I arranged napkins in paper cups so that each person could ride next to the shelf, dish up, and ride off. I weighted down the items so they wouldn't blow away. I pounded a nail into the tree above the shelf. Scribbling on a piece of notebook paper, I wrote, Jim, Carrie, and guests. Cowboy up and help yourselves to treats. Love, Rebecca. Then I speared the note on the nail. The leather squeaked as I climbed into the saddle. I laughed as I went through a trail run at Cowboy Up. I headed back to camp to start making dinner for my guests. I hummed as I browned hamburger in the skillet on the wood cook stove, imagining the shock on their faces when they discovered the wilderness drive-thru. The hollow feeling was gone, and my heart leaped with joy. The next morning, after drying the last of the breakfast dishes, I saddled Czar and cantered out to the trail. I beamed when I saw that the shelf was nearly empty. They'd eaten every cookie, drank all the Kool-Aid, and sipped every drop of coffee. They'd scribbled on the note, "Wow, what a surprise, thank you." From that day on, I knew that no matter where I was, even in the middle of the wilderness, I could find opportunities to bless others. And that day was only the beginning of Cowboy Up. Over the next few years, Jim, Carrie, and I had a blast with that shelf. It became a good-natured mystery. On the first day of each hunt, when Jim and Carrie rode out of the trailhead with their guests plodding behind them, they'd turn in their saddles and say, "In 14 miles, we'll be briefly stopping at a drive-in and grabbing a snack." The guests, thinking they were getting their legs pulled, would roll their eyes and laugh. After miles of dusty trails through pine trees, across creeks, and around mountainsides, without seeing any signs of civilization, Jim and Carrie would remind them, "Keep your eyes open for that drive-in." The guests were convinced it was a joke, but when they rode their horses around the bend and saw the shelf with coffee and all the fixings, their eyes would bug out. Cowboy Up always received rave reviews. Lord, please show me opportunities to do things that will touch people's hearts. Amen. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's reading. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And please use that chat box on the right-hand side of your screen to share your thoughts with me, anything you'd like to add to tonight's reading. I would love to just have a nice chat with you guys about this. So go ahead and just use that chat box and we can talk about it. I personally, this is one of my favorite devotionals because I can just really understand what Rebecca is talking about here. You get such a good feeling inside when you do things for other people and you imagine the joy that they are feeling and it gives you joy. And I love doing things for other people because I get that feeling inside too. And that's why I like my music. I like performing because I know it's giving joy to other people and it gives me a good feeling for that. But the Bible verse at the beginning, when it was talking about, always be kind to strangers because you'll never know when you're entertaining an angel. I've heard stories about people saying, I think that was an angel, I did something for them. And just this look they gave me goosebumps. And I think it was an angel. And to me, that's just always so neat that you were able to do something like that, even if it wasn't an angel. But still, just to get the goosebumps like that and everything, and know that you just made their day, you just helped them, you just brought joy to their life. So, always be nice to people, I guess is the moral of the story, because you never know who it might be. So again, guys, please use that chat box on the right hand side of your screen. Tell me your thoughts, share anything you'd like to say relating to the story or anything else. I'd just love to hear from you guys. And if you aren't watching this live, use the comment section down below to send me a message down there. Again, guys, please check out my Facebook page, The Well-Rounded Girl. There's a link in the description. Go and like my page. I post updates about videos and what's going on. So please just go like my page for that. And please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss when I post any videos. I post other videos besides this series, so subscribe so you don't miss those. Also, check out my blog. There's a link in the description for that. And once again, guys, this series is sponsored by Amazon Prime. Get a free 30-day trial by clicking the link in the description. And when you sign up through that link, you are supporting this channel and this series, so please go check it out. Come back tomorrow night at 9:30 for another episode. I am so grateful for you guys that come back night after night to watch me. It means the world to me that you're sharing this experience with me. So thank you all so much, and I hope to see you all again tomorrow night at 9:30. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night and a great day tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Good night, everybody.